Michelle's still muted.
We are live on Channel 8 and YouTube.
All right, welcome everyone to the March 3rd capital planning meeting. I'd like to start off by calling the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, we've got a nice short agenda today. Item before us, everyone should have gotten the paperwork Holly sent out from Bob. Bob, if you just want to quickly go over what we're looking at and what we're looking at, you're hoping to have us do, and we'll just take it from there.
Well, obviously, this all happened after capital planning met a few times and things were in motion. Our 2014 Volvo loader, we were having issues with it, so we had the company come out and diagnose the problem, which was about $2,000. The problem is it's an internal leak between the torque converter and the transmission. They came back with a quote estimate of repair. I think it was a little over $52,000, give or take. The machine would probably be down 2+ weeks. It's a major job, and a major component of that loader, or any loader. Going back and forth with Adam and the select board on some other options, and pretty much everybody's in agreement with, yeah, I don't feel comfortable even after the fact of if it was repaired 3-4 years down the road, what the outcome possibly could be, and then end up with a pile of scrap steel. So we're pretty much all on board. Well, we had an idea of maybe purchasing a used cat loader, which had decent hours on it. And then with discussion with Adam, we're probably better off just going for a state bid price loader with no complications and warranties and starting fresh. That loader wasn't predicted to be traded in for a while yet. I was going to put the 96 Volvo loader on capital next year and have that for a decent backup. But this is kind of an emergency. This is a primary piece of equipment for the DPW in the town of Templeton. It does multiple jobs. It chews 12 months out of the year. It plows, it loads trucks with material for winter operations, tree work. It's just an everyday tool, and needs to be real dependable. So in speaking with Adam, we're both in favor of going for the new loader, which would cost $187,395, and with a terrible trade-in allowance of $20,000 and a balance of $167,395. So that's what I'd like to put in front of you people tonight. If you see my capital sheet, I didn't know what box to really checked off, so I added a box of unexplained major repair.
I think that box works just well. Bob, did they give you any idea what caused this to go on? I mean, a loader that's not overly that old. I know it's used all the time, so obviously it's got hours on it, but anything in particular go wrong with this loader?
Usually it's for a hard-working loader, and usually highway department loaders ain't really working that hard. It's on the road. You're not off the road. You're not in a gravel pit. You're not on a job site running it to its full limits all day long. It actually has an easy life. They can't determine what the problem was, if it was a faulty molded part. There's no determination on what it possibly could be, or it's not warranted either. So they really didn't have a good explanation for why it happened. And it's nothing that we would ever be able to diagnose with all the new equipment today and the technology. I mean, the controls are electronic, and it's just they're way ahead of the mechanics, your local mechanics, because they're the only ones that hold software, whether it's CAT, John Deere, Case, or other. So your hands are kind of strapped. And being in where we have a CAT backhoe and the sewer department has a couple pieces of CAT equipment, at least it's going to start making sense if they come out for a service call and one of us or more than one of us need a repair. Hopefully we could do some savings in them coming out for it. But yeah, it's gut wrenching to me. It really is, and I hate to see something down the road if you were to repair it and try to propose this again to the town. It's not going to be a good situation. So this is the best recommendation that I think is the best for the town. And then I would have to probably put off that other loader another year. Try to absorb and help the town out with their finances.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Bob about the loader process on what he's looking to do? I think that he seems to have done the homework on it, done the research on it. I hate the thought of such I don't want to say a young piece of equipment having to be replaced, but at the same time, the last thing we need to do is have no loader working effectively. I mean, certainly something that they use all the time. You constantly see it being used. So,
and if you read Adam's memo, he is correct in what he stated. Buying used equipment is not like buying new equipment from municipalities. It's a different game. You would have to go out to invitation of bidding and trying to find them to hold that piece. It's not like a new piece of equipment. They give you the state bid price and things are great, but that does.
Often you're also buying someone else's problems too.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's like buying a used car. You think you got a good one, and then 3 months down the road, not so much. But
excuse me, Tom and Bob, if you can bear with me, I'm reading this just as much. I did a little digging, and I'm reading this just as much for me. I know you guys probably already know a lot of it, but it's Capital Improvement Planning Process, Policy C3, and it says the bylaw defines capital expenditures as those where proposed asset or project has a useful life of 5 years or more and exceeds $10,000 in cost. And I'm skipping over, I'm not trying to leave anything out, but I just have highlights and we have a hard stop. So it says town's capital improvement plans and priorities, and for which operating and maintenance costs have been included in operating budget forecasts. So that's one thing I wanted to point out with going for the new, is it a loader?
yes, call the front end loader.
Front end loader, that's what I thought. So, that's something that I'm curious to make sure we have figured in the operating costs, operating budget forecasts. It says all capital assets shall be maintained at a level adequate. And this is where I think it's important that we're making the right decision here. I agree with Bob and Adam. To protect the town's capital investment and to minimize future maintenance and replacement costs. And equipment replacement and building repair needs shall be projected for the next 5 years and will be updated each year. But what I wanted to also interject was, say we had voted that 52,000, that was only a 3-month warranty. So that doesn't fit into the criteria that we're looking at as capital planners. It needs to be at least 5 years with a forecast of it's going to last 5 years. And every department is supposed to be filling that out of all their equipment and when they're due to expire, their forecasted maintenance, operating costs. So, you know, my question to Bob would be, how is the forecast for the maintenance and upkeep of such a,
Well, for your understanding that in the future and upcoming, if you ever read my like capital reports, if you read my reports, I'm going to identify the equipment with its proper names and characters. So if you have any doubt or what that called, just always refer to my report, because sometimes in processing and stuff, things get changed around and called something different. But just always refer to my reports, and you'll know what I'm talking about. On the maintenance of a new loader, you're going to have regular services. They call them PMs, which is changing the oil, hydraulic filters, transmission filters, water filters. Greasing of the machine is done periodically, usually after every 8 hours of use. Then as you start using the machine, you're probably going to have to replace some hydraulic hoses within its use. Pray to God you don't cut or blow a tire because they're very expensive. Wear and tear is cutting edges. That's normal. You're going to replace cutting edges, and it's designed for replacement edges. And then you'll be, after warranty, you might have some upgrades to the software to that unit. The newer equipment today, I think you can even do it to fire trucks and etc. They can actually do an update to that piece of equipment from their office.
Yep.
They don't have to come out on site. So when you get the machine the next day, you might see an update. So, I mean, things are gone so crazy and the technology is unreal. It's your basic maintenance is a PM and keeping your edges good and keeping a good maintenance schedule. So it does give you that time of life.
And that's something you wouldn't have to add into your expense budgets anyway. At this point, Bob, you've already got that in there for the loader and for all your equipment. I know you schedule those preventative maintenance stuff and that. So that wouldn't be any type of an added cost. So
Correct.
no, there's no difference between the 2018 and the new.
I don't know if she froze.
I think you just froze up, Terry. Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you hear us still?
Nah, she still appears frozen in the caption.
Oh, she's back. We can see you now.
Thank you. I don't know what happened. It just went down all of a sudden. Boom.
You talk too much, it froze up.
All right. In my own computer.
Does that anyone else have any other questions for Bob on this equipment? If not, I'd entertain a motion on what we'd like to put forward to the Board of Selectmen as far as from capital planning.
I'd make a motion to put forward the front end loader, brand new as presented. It's 187,000. Do we have to include that in or just make the motion to move this forward to the select board?
We should also mention that it should go on the fall town meeting.
Okay, and to be placed on fall town meeting as a warrant item.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Tom, if you would, I think Terry said one 87, that was gonna be 167, 395, so
That's what I read, but I thought I heard you say it, what, 187 at this meeting?
well, yeah, that was without the state bid price, and then with the state bid pricing and trade in, it comes down to the 167, 395.
Okay, would you like to amend your motion, Terry, on to that number?
Sure.
And
I should have said as presented on the handout.
if I may, Tom, I'm sorry, being a fall town meeting, you might want to allow some wiggle room, 6% for that, case of steel and et cetera goes up.
I was just gonna ask you that, Bob.
Okay, so as far as, basically, we could leave it as the state bid price on the loader at that time, because the state bid price should, if it's depending on when they went out to bid on that, as far as the state, some of them are 1 year, some are 2 years. So would it be more accurate to move forward with that at the state bid price versus saying the exact dollar amount?
Correct, I would.
I agree.
So I think that might be more accurate. Not to ask you to amend your motion possibly again, Terry, but
I do amend that. You know, I have everything here, so I know what the price is, but we will go with the amended motion to go with the state bid price at the time of the fall town meeting, or the time it's actually it gets voted in, and at the time of purchase. Can we say that at the time of purchase? Because we'll have fall town meeting, then he'll have to go and make the purchase, but what if it doesn't happen overnight?
I'll get an updated quote prior to the town meeting, so, and they'll honor that, whether it's
Okay,
3 to 5 months after. I don't feel there'll be any change, but they will honor it once I update it come fall.
okay, and once somebody seconds that, I do have one more question.
I'll second it.
okay, it's been made and seconded. Terry, go ahead.
So Bob,
Yes, ma'am.
heaven forbid they don't pass it. What the heck are we gonna do then?
It's not gonna be good.
No.
It'll be, when it goes down, it's gonna, like I said, is you're gonna get scrap for it. You won't have a trade-in value. And the 96 Volvo is just worse off than a sidewalk machine. So when that breaks down, if it costs abundance of money, it will be a loss of service to the town. And a lot of jobs that we won't be able to do, such as remove tree butts and stuff from the sides of the road,
Uh-oh.
stuff like that. So I pray to God everything moves forward.
Can you hear
And
me?
you're froze again.
Everybody's,
Well, Terry's frozen. I just wanted to mention that Adam will need a supplemental reports that we can give to the BOS, even just a short memo. Tom, did you want to do that?
Yeah, I can take care of that.
Okay. We'll need it for tomorrow, though, to get in the packet.
Not a problem.
can you
Thanks.
hear me now? Everybody froze. Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're back.
You're back.
It's,
Hey, got the old
must have
dial-up
something
network
else
over
on.
there,
I
or what?
must have something else up on my computer that I forgot to shut down. I did have one other question. I think that people are gonna wonder what the tax impact or the implication would be on the taxpayers. So is that something that we need to pass on? Is it something that we should look into? But I know they're definitely gonna wanna know that, if they're gonna approve it, they're gonna wanna know what they're approving, how much. A lot of people are a little bit taken aback because they don't know what the out years of COVID are gonna bring in their lives. So the more information and education we can pass on, the better our chances to get this through.
That's something that we can put out when the fall town meeting comes. Adam can put it in the motions or warrant.
Yeah.
Explanation with what the tax impact will be.
Thank you all. I don't know what other people think about that, but I'm just, that's me.
Yeah, she froze again.
No, I didn't. I just shut up. I just shut up. Shocked you, didn't I? I
You
just
did.
expected me to rattle on. Sorry, Tom.
No problem. Anyone have anything else? Okay, this time we've had a motion made and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes?
Holly,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. And so there we go. Move it forward. I'll do that supplemental report and get that to Holly for the board packet tomorrow.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
don't believe there's anything else on our agenda tonight, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, everybody. Hope not to see you soon.
Have a second on adjournment?
But I don't get to see it.
Second,
All right.
Okay, Cheryl?
second, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, aye. All right, very good. Thank you guys very